Whoa now, y'all, what's happening with the world? Shamans and them foul shopping, reporting on the Bamboozled Again News Network. Show you right. Channel update. Due to change in scheduling, I try to be, transparent, so on and so forth. It's getting hard, especially on a Saturday, as I'm attempting to observe the Sabbath to the best of my ability. It's getting harder and harder to kind of go live. Um, so now lives will probably be Sunday evenings as I wind down into, Monday morning, uh, 9 to 5, the rat race that, it works for me because the field of work I'm in, it is what it is, all praise to the Most High for, sustaining us and keeping us safe. And not just that, right? But seemingly giving me these like messages within the matrix, right? So I really haven't had the time to consume a lot of content or news other than just in a general elementary sense of just knowing, but not all the particulars, right? But I find it odd, for lack of a better word, that um, today I saw that the Nottoway plantation, I believe, which is supposed the largest plantation in the antebellum South in Louisiana, went up in smoke like the Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre tour from back in the day. I mean, it don't look like a fire, but this joint was consumed, engulfed in flames, right? Very interesting. Seemingly during the same time period that I believe 10 Louisiana state inmates escaped. Um, and it's kind of funny when they escaped. I guess they escaped through a faulty toilet or something to that effect. Don't quote me on that. Um, but this is the part that caught me. When they bounced to the ounce, they wrote on the wall, "This was too easy." I believe they've caught up to the making of this video. I believe they've caught three of them, um, but the other seven are at large. What is it saying to you, Toothless Wonder? That gives me reason to rejoice. Here's yet just another aspect of how the plantation of Babylonian culture is completely crumbling, or what was maybe shielded from us, from just the general public, has become exposed for all to see. Which is probably stuff we've already known, but now it's becoming, you know, common knowledge, common household knowledge. You know what I mean? Trending to the day that our true identity will finally be revealed, which gives us credence um, and insight as to why things are the way they are in Babylon and why we can't free ourselves, even though we talk about the problems at nauseum. And we can actually talk about practical solutions to be implemented, but we just can't do it because there's a spiritual block taking place. So we can't do it, or it won't be allowed for us to do it, or somehow to fall apart, or somehow it'll get infiltrated, so on and so forth. The Nat Turner slave rebellion, the Black Panther time parties, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, who was probably on the secret society kind of thing, but even still, um, the shucks, what's my man? Marcus Garvey, who was also, I didn't know that he was also in one of those boule kind of organizations. No matter how hard we try, we just can't escape. The only thing we can do is live spiritually and pray for protection. But I don't believe in these situations where, like, let's say black people are being unalived or hung in North Carolina. A lot of times, and I can't speak to every single situation, but in the few that I did have time to kind of dig into or hear content about it and then, cross check it for the validity, a lot of times these people, family members, be into those secret societies and organizations, Masonic stuff and whatever had. I don't believe that it's just true intentional people who are attempting to find, the God and him walking you to him because he chose us. We didn't choose him, right? We've all been divinely protected. And this is coming from a man who probably should have, not been here 1,000 times conservatively. You know what I mean? This is the man who, up until let's say 50 months ago, had a terrible track record of decision making and foolishness. You know what I'm saying? So if I can be redeemed and given a new identity, So can everyone. And I think that's what's happening as well, because the identities, or how would I word it? The um hmm, forgive me, y'all. The indoctrination is no longer holding weight. It's starting to contradict itself now. Case in point, right? As Babylon fall. But you remember when we got out of Egypt, right? And then we escaped, and then they let us go. But then they got mad and tried to, come back and get us, or you know what I mean? How dare, you know what I mean? Da da da, right? So at nauseum talked about my, child custody issue, of which, the Most High gave me the victory, right? Now I got the victory, but these various agencies are still fighting. Primarily, what do they call that here in America? They call it DHS, right? Who handles child support? And I don't want to get into no long drawn out thing of this, right? But I kept meticulous records. You know what I mean? So, when I submitted, okay, I got custody now. Whoop, 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 whoop. They said they're reviewing it. Okay, but you got to stay on these people because they'll slow walk stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, I give it a few weeks. Okay, so I emailed, it was happening. I don't hear nothing from them. Let me go down here. So we reviewing. They tell me, okay, boom, boom, boom. Another week go by. What's the email them again? What's happening? But this time I email them almost in a court proceeding where I'm showing a timeline, and I'm showing, and I got now test matter of the other party saying the child living with me when I went for custody. You know what I'm saying? So then they hit me back with a bunch of word salad that addressed nothing I said that was factual, that I proved to them as I attached these various, PDFs and whatever have you, screenshots and whatnot, right? But my brain hears it, right? My ears hear it, but my brain retranslates in what they trying to say. So it was like, oh, this is what it was. So they said, now, my court date was April 18th, right? But because the final court document doesn't say when I started the process, they can't determine when the child started living with me, even though I showed them text messages, through email, screenshot of her saying, I will tell them that the child lived with you, and she never did that. That they're trying to find a loophole or technicality to basically still pay someone who's lied to them. Again, in the area of Maryland, or just in the state of Maryland, where financial, and this is common news among the state, and justification for tax increases because of budget deficits, because of mismanaging and misappropriating funds, I basically prove to you that someone is defrauding you and you seem totally unconcerned with it. Oh, well, you should have filed a online grievance. I did that. And it's almost been 9 months and I ain't heard nothing from them. But you're saying they'll take it seriously. It don't seem to be taken seriously if it's almost been 9 months and I ain't heard nothing from none of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I went down there, and maybe they might have sent the sister, had a report out, so we chop it up, woo woo. But I'm like, now what's happening is the story these people are constructing is contradicting itself now. So they made this argument about how, okay, what happened? So she reinstated the child support in May, and then had them backdated to the time I made it, zero or whatever. And then saying for 18 months I've been deficient. But I'm like, how have I been deficient for 18 months? When in the 3 months initially, and I have email record of this, and the worker saying my case was closed. So now I'm not supposed to listen to a worker. They lied to me. You know what I'm saying? But because I continued to have money taken out my check after I made it zero, I had to come back up here and get a refund that came out of Baltimore. And that took about 3 months. So why not just keep taking y'all money if y'all saying this thing existed when it didn't? A direct contradiction. And then if you're saying it did exist, why did y'all get my money back? So it's contradictory from both angles. If I'm deficient, why didn't y'all just keep taking my money? Because I wasn't, it was coming directly out, and I was still employed. So why did y'all stop taking the money? And on the double whammy side, why did y'all give me my money back? And then let's say 4 to 5 months later, how was I able to circumvent all the checks and balances of the MVA to get my license back when I had one in 20 years? This didn't exist until in May of last year. Y'all made it exist. So now out of nowhere, what was it, like almost $4,000 in the hole, right? But I'm like, where's my paperwork? Or there can be no mail generated. Show me the mail generated out of Baltimore, wherever it come from, saying, oh, you haven't paid in 3 months. Oh, you haven't paid in 6 months. Oh, you ain't paid in 9 months. Oh, you ain't paid in a year. It don't exist because it didn't exist at that time. And I told him this, And I wanted to really raise some cane, but I caught myself, let me just, go about this tactfully, right? It seems as though this entity, DHS, is almost the gatekeeper or contributing to the generational curse that plagues the town I live in. Teenage pregnancy and being dependent on the system and da 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 da, right? But when I come with truth, you make me prove the truth in three different ways. Then when I do that, then you just change the talking point and try to find a new technicality to hit me on. Meanwhile, I have proven, again, in numerous different ways, that this person has made false statements, lied to y'all, misappropriated funds, fraud, and you seem totally unconcerned with it. And they're not even subject to even minimal scrutiny, even though I just proved it to you in a few different ways. But I mean, most high give me the victory. But here's what it is. I'm going to just keep warm with them people. Because I'm kind of, this journey in sobriety and the foundational, how the Most High set it up. I've been warned since I've been in it. It's just, different opponents, different terrain. You know what I mean? What am I not to just fall back? No, man, we're not doing that. As long as I keep at it and keep persistent, I'll win the war of attrition. Eventually, y'all just give up because you ain't never seen no Negro like me. You know what I mean? It's just something else I war. But the war is creating this personal value. It's creating the hardening of principles and whatever. Like, I don't even care. I know I'm fighting for what's right. And, they got to hit you with some type of detriment or whatever. I don't care nothing about that. I care about being able to look myself in the mirror when I get up and having a clear conscience when I go to sleep. But now, like I said, like the arguments that they're making are self-contradictory. How can I, not pay child support when I was already paying and y'all stopped taking the money out my check and I can't got money back? And if that is the case, why didn't y'all continue to just take the money? But these are simple questions they can't answer. You know what I mean? It's amazing to see the world and its systems be exposed for what it is. Gone is the luster of Hollywood and the rap game. Not only do they just seem like regular people, they seem very worse. They seem like the monsters among us. We've been looking at monsters on our TV screen since we've been on Earth, yo. And I don't believe, just like if you join a golf club or whatever, there's probably different tiers and whatnot. But in a general sense, you must abide by and have a certain mentality, belief system to join the golf club for them to let you up in the jump. So it's very few people that I feel like ain't, been taxed, for lack of a better term, who get to these certain financial realms where the money isn't directly coming from, sales, it's coming from corporate entities who they themselves, like the corporate, it's amazing. I know people haven't inhabit spirits, and I know spirits are able to inhabit inanimate objects, like maybe a crystal ball or AI, something like that. But now I'm saying spirits reside within institutions, the building of a thing or a government thing. You know what I'm saying? There's a spirit of hatred for fatherhood in DHS. So, and it has to be, because if I tell you you're being defrauded and got no wrong, you don't care about that. You just care about making me jump through hoops, even though I already won. It's no different. And this is what a Negro got to do, but we're getting these superpowers now, right? Because like I said in a previous video, all existence is hell. I don't care about nothing else. Because don't nothing else exist until I conquer this hell. You know what I'm saying? And if it take me, 5 years, what else am I going to do with my time? Just sit at the base? Ain't nothing to do down here other than tackle this hill, right? So they kind of, I gotta keep going. It's the spiritual epigenetic process where the harsh conditions are actually creating an evolution to be able to survive, thrive, not just survive, first survive, then thrive in conditions that are meant to break you. You know what I'm saying? Here's another one. I really don't, because I be all over the place, right? Here's another one, right? I'm really concerned with our modern female count. They might be too far gone, but it is like Keisha Cole, her butt pad slipped out. Like they're almost looking like some, I don't know, they look like women, but it's just like something the average man, not even the spiritual man or the novel, just it's become, whether he can the modern woman is almost becoming something he can't resonate with or connect to, and that's probably been the case. But again, they've gone beyond the mark. Keisha Cole, 40 years old, she on stage and her butt pad slipping out. Just it, they're getting embarrassed now. You know what I mean? The rhetoric that they're spewing has become so completely delusional and asinine. It's taking just even the simp man back. You know what I mean? It's real in the battlefield, baby. That illusion is beginning to crumble. You know what I mean? Especially in light of the Cassie stuff, where you probably worked around Cassie's. She leave on her lunch break. You like, oh, okay, whatever, whatever. You not realize she gonna top somebody off real quick and come back. You know what I mean? Like if you were the modern woman, however you categorize her, if you had like a little drone that could follow around, you would literally be mind blown to her actual behavior. One of my earliest videos, right? Now I talked about how I made videos about my old job and whatnot, right? And I had to, and I, for wisdom purpose, I voluntarily took those videos down that actually had their name, Avenues Recovery Center, Chesapeake Bay, out of the title. But one of my earlier videos, it might have been about this time last year, I did a video of my experiences working at the Jewish rehab, right? And in parentheses, I put, it was like working for P. Diddy, yo. Man, they was doing some splacking in that camp to the point where I was blown away. And the vast majority of it was the females doing the hunting. You know what I mean? It was, man, I'm trying to tell you. It was so egregious. Like, I literally had to go by the water and think, like, God damn, who was I'm around? By supposed healthcare professional. I had a counselor who had an OnlyFans while she was working at the rehab. I had another, my work daughter had a sex tape out there. You know what I mean? You got bonquishas who all have, boyfriends or significant others at home, but they're at work undermining each other because they both they both like the same side piece. Then, main man leave, he goes start, I guess getting high again or whatever the case may be. These women were getting extorted. And it was repeatedly happening. It wasn't like, main man coming, he just him, so he kind of, can do, what I mean, whoop, right? These people had like, and it ain't taking long. Man, been out of our care and custody 4 hours. And not only that, in a few instances, two bonquishas that I know, and people personally told me this, who dusted them all, say, yo, cuz, you ain't never lied, bro. I thought you was just welling. That's a DC term, like cat for lying, right? I thought you was welling. Bro, man, she came down to scoop me up to give me some. You realize she had a bottle of Hennessy with her, yo? She was trying to get some drunken love, like Beyonce. But you met the man in rehab, and the first thing you do when you give him some is try to get him drunk first? That's nasty work, Jack. I mean, I could go on and on to the break of dawn. By the degradant behavior of professionals rampantly. It was so bad, I chose my soul and spirit over money. I said, I can't be a part, no joke, yo. Now I understand stuff happen, you address it, whatever. But the leadership and administrator didn't seem to want to address it. So again, how I talk about, I look at what you do, not what you say. Yeah, we'll get around to it, but I ain't seen you get around to it. So I'm going to get around to getting gone up out of here. And since I've left 2 different times, it's got exponentially worse. Where in the town I live in, the place is a joke and we laugh about these people when we talk about them. But because it's the only rehab, we still kind of got to deal with them. So they're almost a necessary evil. You know what I mean? Babylon is falling apart. And they can't stop themselves. You know what I mean? I've seen like content just, cheating or whatever. It is what it is. But the other levels of cheating, you know what I'm saying? Where main man come home and his wife having a threesome in the house where he pay all the bills at. You know what I mean? It's becoming almost dangerous. Like the words say, what man can take fire into his bosom and not be burned? It's getting so bad out here, Jack. It's too dangerous to even deal with the modern woman. Because eventually she's gonna try, like Cass, she's gonna try to, now you was all with it. But maybe she gets older, hits the proverbial wall. He might start grooming someone else who's younger, a newer model. Now you want to come back and get some sweet potatoes out the man. But then under just minimal scrutiny, come to find out you loved all this here. You can't wait to freak off with the man. And, oh man, I ain't drink enough piss last night. You know what I mean? Like, why? And then to see these people. Now, anybody can repent. I'm not like necessarily judging like I'm better, right? Because I've done my fair share of dirt. And some which I pray never see the light of day, right? But repentance takes time period and a change in behavior. If she could do it all over again and still get whatever benefit she would get, she would. She would endure the abuse. She would endure the boot, the boot, the boot, the boot. You know what I'm saying? So she is as I said, and I stand by the statement, she is a victim and a participant at the same time. Victim maybe of not having a father to kind of, but we get older, you can't really, tell them what to do at that point. You can try your best, but she was a victim of the society that promotes that. Now, as she get older, no matter how much money she got, she'll be a shell of her former self, unless the Most High get a hold of her and put her on a path of redemption and purging herself and renouncing it and so on and so forth. But that take time. You know what I'm saying? Like years, sometimes decades, especially when you're engaged in those type of acts, which will make just the average human being, throw up in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, how do you go get put in a figure four by four different dudes repeatedly over 10 years and say text message, oh, I like that, and you know what I'm saying? Again, contradicting their own narrative. But you ain't even got to do no forensic files type crap. Just took a cursory look at what they doing and what they saying. It don't hold up. Because even though the adversary is the father of all lies, everything a lie. You know what I'm saying? And very seldom do I see people who are not only telling, because here's another thing I'm saying. Not only are these people not telling the truth, or if they do tell the truth, they're telling the truth for the wrong purposes. I'm not telling you the truth because I want you to have it, take it, empower yourself with it, grow, whatever. I'm telling you the truth right now because I'm trying to reel you into me on the basis of the truth. And then once I get you in, then I'm going to start leading you astray. You know what I mean? Like Al Sharpton now, man. You know what I mean? But I just find that, and I'm just rambling now, but I just find that to be very timely, and it kind of makes my soul kind of smirk. You know what I mean? Like when you know something everybody's doing, you don't necessarily feel the need to kind of like hammer it home. You just kind of hit them with it. I already know what time. Or I'll go back to my basketball. That's what I was going to do. Because I use basketball analogy. A lot of times life is spiritually, right? Like Jordan, when let's say he's down in the game and there's only 3 minutes left. He just gonna hit you with the smirk because he know what he finna do. Because he's trained himself to do that in various scenarios and situations. But back to these people, right, where they keep moving the goalposts. I've been on this goalpost mover thing kick lately, right? So okay, the 3-point line. If you want 3 points, you got to shoot from this line, right? This is what they did to me essentially. So I nailed a 3-pointer, whack 'em, right? Then let's say 2 weeks later, I get a letter in the mail saying that the 3-pointer I shot from where they said shoot it from don't count because the 3-point line has now been moved and is actually at this point, and we just made it retroactive. So we taking your points away, yo. I said, how are you gonna do that? Well, we understand your frustration. These things happen. You know what I mean? But now, if you want to hit a 3-pointer, you got to shoot it actually from 5 feet away from the original 3-point line. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, now I'm frustrated. But then the anger kind of makes me focus at home more, right? So just to go above the mark in well-doing, right? Not in, tomfoolery, but in well-doing. So I hit 1 3-pointer at the first mark, right? They move it back another 5 feet. I said, okay, just to, cement this. Then I hit 3 3-pointers from the new distance 5 feet away, right? Okay, boom, we put that in the scoreboard. I got verification, game film, whatever. I'm feeling good about myself. I met the challenge and then went above and beyond the Call of Duty, right? So I'm laid back, toothpick in my mouth, sipping lemonade. Then I get a phone call or email saying, well, technically that don't count because the ref who officiated that game, he let his certification lapse. So the 3 points you shot at the new distance can't be put into official record because the official at the game he didn't recertify. Oh yeah, for future reference, you got to shoot them. You know what I mean? Because now there's this new thought concept in society about people shooting the ball. So now you got hook shot it. Sorry for your inconvenience. I say now I'm super mad. I say, you know what? Now I just hook shot the joint from half court. Nothing but nets. Bong. You know what I mean? No, Mr. Nah, that don't count either. Because technically you're supposed to bank it. Because the governor just said, just always hit me. Now y'all know I'm nice, man. Just get it up, man. Stop with that, man. But then I kind of, and here's another thing that's been happening. I just been moving into meeting the challenge because meeting these challenges spiritually gives you another spirit. So there's a reward for it. See, previous to them messing with me, I wouldn't even think about shooting no 3-pointer and hitting them back to back 5 feet away from where I'm especially supposed to shoot from. But because it's a matter of necessity, I've now gained the ability to do something I shouldn't be able to do because of the hardship and stress they put me under. So the hardship and stress is giving me a greater focus. I told my man Eshore Rig this, right? Now we from the same general hometown or whatever, but he's lived in Baltimore longer than I have. And, not to get him mad, but he's, we're back in the same era, right? So, but we talking, chopping it up, whoop, whoop, whoop. And he been dropping some songs. And he said, in one bar, he said, F school, long as I can spell. No, okay, I don't want to jabber to John up. In one bar, he said, F school, as long as I can read, count. No, as long as I can read, count. No, as long as I can talk, count, and spell. I said, oh, cuz. I said, the hardship is making your bars more immaculate, cuz. So, I mean, I know things are hard, and that's when we lean on the Most High. But I just want to end this with whatever you're doing, whatever you're storming, and I'm saying to y'all, saying to myself, whatever storm you're in, as long as you keep your eyes on the Most High, you won't drown in the circumstances that was actually meant to help you walk on water, not drown. On that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. Man, I appreciate y'all for like, share, subscribe. For those that donate, my man, brother Dan, sister Tamiga, my man, Narc to Light sent me a super duper contribution, man. Much appreciated. I hope y'all get something out of it. I appreciate y'all for appreciating me. One love, baby.